Oi oi, fancy seeing you here. Hope you're having a good day. First of all, if you just clicked on this video to learn how to replace the lead nails in your roof with a screw, then roll clip. If you're here for other stuff, then stick around till after this. Alright, so you jump up on the roof, make sure it's on a shady day and not a really sunny day or a rainy day, because you don't want the roof to be super hot or the roof to be slippery. To get the roof nail going, you slip the claw part of the claw hammer under, get it starting to lift. Then once it's come a little ways, you sneak a crowbar under it or one of those nail removing pry bar things. Place a plank of wood under the low spot on the roof so that you don't dent it when you're crowbarring it. And what you want to do is you want to lift the nail out from one side, and then once it's come a little bit out, lift it again on the other side with a little bit more wood under the crowbar so that it comes out straight instead of coming out crooked. Otherwise you'll end up with a weird looking hole that's got a burr on it or have a little bit of your roofing material ripped out. Now, I believe this part is optional, but for why not reasons, because we get the silicone from somewhere, you squirt a bit of silicone into the hole for a good measure. Take the new screw, make sure there's a little rubber washer under the head, and screw it down until it pulls the roofing panel down, but not till it crushes it. If it crushes it, you've gone too far. Also, if the washer oozes out the side of the heads, you've also gone too far. So you might have to chuck that one and put a new one on, because that washer's no good, mate. Alright, now if you came to learn about my whole story of replacing my roofing nails, as well as my story about overcoming my fear of heights, then carry on listening, eh? And if you weren't, then feel free to stick around. But if you're going, have a nice day. Right, so get this. Early this year, summer's coming to an end, and we get this huge storm coming in. Just an absolute buttload of rain. Now, people tell me this was a 100-year flood, but I say it was a flood because people thought it was a good idea to build over all the waterways and then build houses on top of floodplains. Fortunately, my home did not flood. We just had a water stream go past our house, luckily. The garage did slightly flood, but everything's on blocks in there anyway, so it didn't really matter much. However, on that fateful day, we did discover that our roof was leaking. Now, as you can imagine, this was a bad thing because the water is meant to be on the outside, not on the inside of the house. Now, there really wasn't much that we could do on the day, so Dad just got up on the rafters, placed a couple of buckets around where the water was coming in, called it a day. I didn't go up because I'm too fat. So a couple months pass, and we kinda, forget about it till it rains again. Well, after it started raining again, I figured it's about time that we figure out why it starts raining. So I asked my buddy, who's a builder, where I ought to start looking. And of course, him being a tradie, he comes over at the mention of a beer and some pizza. And one look at my roof later, and also 4 bottles of beer and a whole pizza, and my man tells me the nails on the roof are no good and they have to be replaced. And then he promptly drove back home. Drinking and driving is a bit of an epidemic in this country. Bird. Whoa. So I hop on the ladder, jump up on the roof, and guess what I see? nails with rust spots all around them. It's like they were crying rust. That was kind of horrifying. Which can only mean one thing. Because the roofing panels on my roof is aluminium, and aluminium don't rust. Which means the nails on my roof are rusting. It was pretty damn obvious that some of these had lifted over the years as well. I mean, we've lived in this house for 15 years and never knocked the nails down once. So that might explain a thing or two. So jump online, do some research. And by that, I mean I went on r/DIYNZ and looked up roofing nail replacement. So, and then I find the right kind of nails for my roof, which for me were 12 gauge, 65mm long CL5 roofing screws with the seals already on there. So we went to Fortress Fasteners, or the other one, I forget, and bought the nails with the washers already under them. I did read on a couple of places that I should buy these huge as EDPM, I think, washers and put a big metal washer over it and then screw it down. But it looks like that's just for the areas that are prone to hurricanes and stuff. We're generally not in the area of Auckland that I live in, so I opted for not using those. And those were kind of hard to find in New Zealand unless I bought them in bulk. And when I mean bulk, I mean like in multiples of 10 or 100,000 only. Now, before I continue the story, I'd like to interject here and tell you a little bit about my fear of heights. I am terrified of heights. Always have been. Don't know why, just always have been. I just freeze up whenever I get somewhere high. That's why I'm at sea level right now. It looks like the ground is like rushing towards me, and like it makes my heart clench. It's not like enough to paralyze me, so it's not that bad, but it's still bad. Hell, I don't even like standing on chairs or desks, or even being on top of mountains when I've got my feet firmly planted on the ground. But this job has got to chuck me up on the roof, hey? 15 years I've lived here, never been on the roof. And now the time has come to face my lifelong fear head on. Because at the end of the day, to change these nails out to screws, I am gonna have to get up on this bloody roof. Either way, I just clenched my teeth and got up there. On the first day, we replaced about 200 nails with screws. Me and my dad together. This entire time, I was like trembling in fear. Jesus, buddy. Must be having a good time, eh? But I mean, I had to help Dad. I couldn't just let him do it by himself. So I got up there, crawled on all fours, and did what had to be done. And then after that day, as embarrassing as it is to admit, I woke up with hemorrhoids. I had clenched and puckered so hard that I had developed hemorrhoids in the process of being on the roof for about 6 hours. I guess this is what they mean by scared shitless, because yeah, I was pretty shitless for about a day. It was too painful. And this was only after doing one side of the house. There's 3 more sides to go, and maybe even the garage. So the weekend comes, and now it's time to get back onto the roof. But during the week I decided to prepare myself and think about why I fear being up high so much. Really, the fear itself stems from the idea of falling, doesn't it? It's not necessarily the fear of high places, rather it's the fear that I'll rapidly descend from that high place. So the fear itself is a manifestation of something that has not happened yet. And therefore it was all in my head. Well, okay, I've been fearful of other things before and I've managed to just suck it up and power through it, swallow some concrete pill, any of that other stuff. So I did what anybody should do in this situation, and I wanted to clarify my fear. Okay, why did I fear this, and what can I do to not? What are the things that are under my control? Well, I can control the time that I go up on the roof, you know, when it's not sunny, when it's not super windy or windy at all. Today would have been a great day actually. I've still got like one side of the roof to finish. I can control that when I'm on the roof, I can keep my profile low, so even if there's a sudden wind gust, it won't hit me. I can control the way that I sit, so that when I do fall, that I have to roll forward, which is much harder than leaning back. And I can wear shoes with good treads to minimize slipping and be careful about where I place my feet, so that, again, I can minimize slipping. Okay then, so what are the things that I can't control? Wind gusts, whether or not I do actually fall, and if I do fall, where I would fall. Now that I've identified the things that are within my control and things that are not, I can take precautions to minimize the risk of falling. And I can plan and think my way through the worst case scenarios. So what was the worst case scenario? That I'll fall? Yeah, I mean, if that happened, it will suck really bad. I might even be grievously wounded or paralyzed, or maybe snap my neck and die. But did the risk of falling outweigh the guilt I would have felt if I just left my dad to keep working on it by himself without me? Or if I just let the house go to ruin and let the water come in? The guilt I would have felt if Dad had to work harder and longer because I wasn't up there with him, so he gets tired and he falls down. Could I live with that compared to this fear? No, absolutely not. I never could live with that. And I had to just tell myself, it's okay to be afraid of things. People are afraid of a lot of things. It's natural to be afraid of things. But it is necessary to be brave, but it is not okay to be not brave when the occasion calls for it. Fear in the end is just a paranoia of the mind. And the mind is one thing that you have the ultimate control over. Plus, I guess, I mean, if I had fallen and died, I've lived a pretty good life, so. And I mean, if some giant monster came out of the lake and just like swallowed me whole right now, I'd die easier knowing that I helped Dad on the roof than I did not having done that. So, no regrets. So, with that reframing in mind, I began to see this as more of a challenge instead. This was, of course, just another step in practicing for the adversity. I need to use the thing that I fear and use it as a tool to build resilience. Something that's going to help me become a better person. So I got up on the roof on the weekend and I stayed up there even longer. I could walk around, move faster, and I had sort of worked my way through the fear and embraced it. Sure, I was really scared still. You know, the fear hasn't just magically gone away, but I did manage. But I was starting to see this as more of an adventure now. And even though I was still a bit stiff up there, I was still more comfortable. I felt better. I could move around. I could actually stand up on the roof, not just crawl around on all fours like I've been doing before. And really, that's all that mattered. All I had to do was focus on the fear, not hide from it, and clarify the fear that I'd felt and face it head on. I have a long way to go. I have to be more comfortable with being uncomfortable. I've spent so much of my life just doing things that I'm comfortable, though I've done lots of things that I don't feel comfortable, and I need to do more of it. And this was a great step forward. And of course, not only that, now I have mostly a leak-free roof. Like I said, I've still got one more side to do. We did 2 sides last weekend and kind of ran out of sunlight. Well, more like we got too much sunlight and had to pack it. It was raining in the morning, alright? Roof's slippery, probably. Shush, I'll do it next week again. Well, I really hope that this helped anybody who's looking to replace their roofing nails with screws, or help someone overcome their fear of heights or anything really. And I know that my fear of heights has not gone anywhere, but as I get more and more comfortable, it will slowly disappear. And someone told me that the nervousness I feel whenever I do something that I'm not comfortable with can also be excitement. So who knows, maybe in a couple of months, maybe a couple of years, I'll be parachuting from an airplane or something. Maybe not. No, never mind. Cut that. Thanks for watching, eh? Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you did. Please leave a like. Leave me a nice little comment, or not so nice comment. I don't mind either way. But, my friend, I hope you have a great day.